everyone, so it's been a bit of a bumper week for releases on Assetto Corsa because not only did Peter release Sol 2.2.6 and I have got a video on the channel with a full install guide of that, he also released Pure 0.154 and that's what we're going to be going through today. So I'm going to go through what's new in this new version of Pure, as well as a full install guide and how it looks in game. As ever, do check out the rest of the channel, there's lots more sim racing on there, especially Assetto Corsa, and do hop over to simrace247.com for all your sim racing and motorsport news. Okay, then we're going to start the video with a mod as always, and this one's an absolute stormer. This is the Ferrari F175 from 2022 by Synapse. And I will drop a link to his YouTube channel with the link to download this in the description, so do check that out. So what is this? This car competed in the 2022 F1 season. It was driven by Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz Jr. It scored 4 wins and it got 20 podiums, nearly 800 brake horsepower, 542 Newton meters of torque, and it weighs 715 kilograms. This is a beautiful mod done extremely well. It drives exceptionally. So do check this out and do support Synapse, support all the modders that we're going to be covering today. So now we've covered the car mod we're going to feature today, let's look at the main reason we are here, and that is to look at Pure 0.154 by Peter Bose that was released this week. So what is Pure? For those people that don't know, this changes the whole look and feel of Assetto Corsa. It currently sits on top of Sol and works in conjunction with CSP. That's either the normal CSP or the preview rain versions of CSP. It's important to understand that Pure is currently a paid for mod. It's £1 a month to support the developer, and I think it's very worth it. These modders are making an enormous difference to how Assetto Corsa actually plays, so really worthwhile. Okay, let's jump onto the main install process then. Once you've downloaded the file and extracted it, you will get a folder that's got this main folder in it, which is the Pure 0.154 folder, and you'll also get a changelog, a Pure install guide, a Pure scripting guide, and what's the difference. So all those are worth a read, and I'm going to show you now how to install and uninstall it if you need to in the correct way. But before we do that, let's have a quick look in the changelog. So as you can see, it's an enormous document, and I'm only going to go over the main points here really, because there are lots of details here that you can look at in your own time, and also we're in those documents that are in the main folder that you've downloaded. So Pure 0.154, what are the big differences? Well, there's been a big difference in exposure handling, and you can see that on the scripts there. There's initialization bugs that have been fixed. There's more optional parameters. There's God Race script handling that has been improved, and also there's been an improvement in the way that this uninstalls and installs. The rest of it you can read for yourself. As I said, there's lots of documentation there. So what I'm going to show you now is how to uninstall or install it correctly, as well as all the settings that you can go through in Content Manager to make sure it runs correctly. Then we'll go in game and have a look at how it looks. So let's go into the main Pure 0.154 folder that you've extracted, and you will see you've got a number of folders at the top, but at the bottom you've got Install Pure and Uninstall Pure. Now it's really important to understand that unlike Sol, this can be done automatically. Sol you have to do manually, and do check out my video that I've just released on the latest version of Sol. But in Pure, this is done by these bat files that are really easy to run. So if I click on uninstall_pure, you will see it's asking me to point it to where Assetto Corsa is actually installed. Now I'm not going to do that. I don't want to uninstall Pure, but that is the standard way to uninstall it. In the same respect, if you want to install Pure, you can just double click on this bat file here that says install Pure and point it to where your Assetto Corsa is located. Mine is in Steam Games, it's under Steam Library, and then you go into Common and click on Assetto Corsa. Really easy stuff. You keep it on that one and press OK. Now you will see that it's removed the old version of Pure and then it's installed the new version. It's really simple to do, so you don't need to uninstall the previous version to install the new one. That uninstall piece is only if you want to remove Pure completely from your system. It's also worth pointing out with the latest version of Pure, you only get 16K Skydomes. They are included, so it's not a separate download anymore. Okay, let's jump into Content Manager because there are a few things here that we now need to double check. So the first thing I always go to is Settings, Custom Shader Patch, and About and Updates, and make sure you're on the right version of CSP. For this, really, you want the latest version. So I'm on the latest version of Preview, which is 115 1.80, but definitely be on 1.79 public if you're not on this. It's all downloadable. I'll put the links in the description, and remember, the public versions are free. Next up, we're going to go to settings, custom shader patch, and weather effects. So as you can see here on the controller script, because I've just downloaded and installed the latest version of Sol, which is 2.2.6, it comes with this 2.4 controller script. So that's the latest version I need to be on. If you look on the weather script, currently I am on Sol 2.2.6. But just above it, I have the latest version of Pure that we've just installed. So I'm going to make sure that on weather script, I'm clicked on Pure. If you don't do that, you're not going to get all the new goodies that you've just downloaded and installed. The next thing to do is we need to double check a couple more things, especially on the video settings. So we're going to click on Assetto Corsa and video. And one of the big things you always need to make sure on the latest versions of Sol and Pure is this reflections piece here. Make sure that rendering frequency is not static. You need to have it on 2 faces per frame. That's what Peter recommends, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to put that in there. And also, because we've just installed Pure, then we can change the PP filter. So I've been running Sol Extra on my latest Sol 2.2.6 video, but now I can click on all these different Pure PP filters. And remember, this gives you the look and feel of the game, and I'm going to change these in game later so you can see the difference. The one thing to call out here is Pure HDRI only works if you have a HDR monitor, and there's also a different way of installing that. Make sure you read Peter's guides on that. So now we've completed the video settings part of this, we do need to go into a couple of more areas on custom shader patch settings. So the next place we're going to go is we're going to click on settings, custom shader patch, and we're going to go to reflections FX. And we need to make sure here that the actual reflections FX extension is active, and you can see the tick box at the top there. Also make sure that you've got the ticks in the area below that as well, which is this area here. So again, it's in Peter's guide, so do read that guide, but I'm just showing you where these are so you can get an easy reference when you go to check them yourself. The next place to check the settings on is really important too, and I get asked lots of questions on this all the time. So this is about the sidebar in game. You know, that drive menu that we go to that I'm always showing in game. So we're going to click on GUI on the left hand panel there, and then it's going to bring up all of these options, especially this new UI here. And you can see at the end we've got a tick box that says new taskbar, so make sure that that's ticked, and also make sure the extension is active at the top. So I think that's all of the settings that we need to do now. So we're going to click on drive, and we're going to head over to the Red Bull Ring and have a look at this gorgeous F1 Ferrari by Synapse. Here we are then in game, and what I've done is I've pressed F7 and I've come out of the car, so we're in the full drive menu. So the first thing to do is just to move your cursor over to the right hand side of the screen and press the 4 dots, and make sure that you're clicking on the Pure config piece down there. You can see it's just here, look, so I'm going to click on there. And do remember as well, even if you've had Pure installed before, it's all been reset. I know Peter says that from this version, if you do install newer versions, it won't change your settings, but I always like to check. So the first thing to do is I'm going to click it on very high as a quality preset, and you can see that's made an immediate difference in how the game looks. Also underneath here, there's some checks that Pure does to make sure that you've clicked everything that I've just showed you in Content Manager the correct way. And here it says reflections frequency is not set to static, reflections FX is enabled, and reflections FX is using the correct sampling. Also then, if we scroll down, you can see you can reset Pure and also reset to default. So if you do mess about with any of these settings and you're not sure what you've done, always choose that. And also there's now automatically load track specific config files if available, and you can see here it's loaded the KS Red Bull Ring in here, which is the one track that I'm on at the moment. So that's something for the future, I believe. Sky, this is something for the future as well. Peter references it in his documentation, so do take a read of that. Nothing to change there. And also clouds here, it's worth again pointing out that the default sky domes are now the 16K sky domes. So if you download this, you'll have the same sky as I have got, and you'll be able to see the same changes that I can see. Also at the bottom here under memory, there's a couple of options. I would leave them exactly as they are. Peter doesn't recommend using the Clouds 2D preload, so I will leave those as they are. There's also a PP tab at the top, so if I click on there, you can see it confirms the PP filter that I'm currently using. There are some other settings in here. In fact, there are a lot of settings in Pure as there are in Sol. What I would say is don't really touch anything unless you know what you're doing, but you've also got reset to default that's on the main section if you do need it, so it's always there to rescue you. So I think that's everything we need to do on the Pure config, so we're going to close that now. I will just say again that I have got a full install guide on Sol 2.2.6. So remember, today I'm using the latest version of CSP Preview 1.80 Preview 115, the latest version of Sol and the latest version of Pure. This is all working together. So let's have a quick look at the PP filters that you get with this install. So all I've done is moved over to the right hand drive menu again, and I've just brought up PP filters, and here you can see under Pure we've got some new options. These are all the latest filters that it's installed today as I've installed this. If I click on the standard Pure, this is probably what most people use, and this is a really balanced PP filter. It's fantastic for your general driving and I really like it. But of course all of these are personal preference, and that's why no one fit is correct. Now Pure Candy is the one that I usually use on my videos, and you've probably seen that in the past. I've talked about Pure HDR earlier in the video, so do check Peter's documentation if you do want to use that and you do need a HDR screen. Pure Linear is a little bit different from the previous Pure and Pure Candy, but again, it looks fantastic. And then if we go to the last on the list, so if we'll just click the down arrow again and just scroll down, and at the bottom we've got Pure Simple. So Peter does document all of these in his documentation and talks exactly about why they are different. Some of it is about the light adaptation of human eyes, some of it is a camera light PP filter, linear tone mapping. You get the idea, they all serve a different purpose. There's no right or wrong, it's all personal choice, so do take a look at them live in game when you're playing using the same drive menu. It really is useful to understand how you want it to look and feel. So let's have a quick look at the Sky Dome. So these are the 16K Sky Domes. This used to be an optional download, but now it's part of the original download, the one that we've just done. So if we bring the Sol Planner up, and remember these are all integrated together, so once you've installed them in the correct way they will all work out of the box together. You can see when we change the time with the red line that the Sky Domes actually spin. The clouds do change as well. This is very, very cool. Now there's some amazing effects on here, especially at dawn and dusk, but I do like these wispy clouds as well, and the quality of the graphics on these really make a difference when you're actually driving in game. But of course, as well as having beautiful clouds at whatever time of day it is, we can change the weather, and this is where Pure again works with every other area, including CSP Preview Rain, which I've got on here at the moment, and Sol and the Sol Planner. So let's take a look at some of the different weather effects. So at the moment we've kind of got a standard minimal cloud piece. If we just put it on bright sunshine, you can see that this will slowly change, and you've kind of got those wispy clouds in the background. Also, one of the pieces that is really good on here at the moment is the glare that you get from the horizon, and I know a lot of work was done earlier on in the development of Pure. So let's move on to scattered clouds, and we can see again we've got a really good mixture, and that looks almost real, and that's because these are actual photographs for the Sky Domes. They are very, very good. Let's move on to these windy clouds. I really like this, more dramatic, and again look at the quality of those graphics. It looks almost real. It makes such a difference in Assetto Corsa, especially when you're racing around the track at high speeds. So of course we've got rain as well, so if I click on light rain here, you can see the rain starts to fall and the cloud system has changed yet again. Of course we have got heavy rain, and we'll put that on, and that will mean then that everything will change around the car, including all of the wetness, and the puddles will start to build up. You can see on the right hand side the numbers are changing, those little blue numbers in the Sol Planner, and again I go through that in more detail on my Sol 2.2.6 guide. Let's take a look around Synapse's F175 mod while this rain is hitting the ground. So there you have it, the latest version of Pure running with the latest version of Sol and the latest version of CSP Preview. Looks absolutely gorgeous. So I've put the sun back on to dry the track out, and that will happen over a period of time. All of the background physics on here are actually in place too, and again there's more on that in my Sol guide that I've posted very recently. Guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been amazing showing you Pure. Do check out the rest of the channel, there's more sim racing on there. And of course check out our sister channel, the link is in the description. Sir Spats Racing will have more videos going on every week. Thanks a lot and see you soon.